Alrighty then. I think there was someone I had to talk to at the coffee shop, didn't I? Something like that. I remember last time I had gotten ambushed. So, I remember there was definitely coffee shop talk. I'm gonna check that out. If there's something there. Nope. Oh yeah, that was it. Koreans hang him in hijack ships with Cruzaris. We made an arrangement. He listens to your tabs. They leave our goods alone. And they steal from our enemies. Instead, everybody wins. Yes! I see. Well, that sounds like a tidier arrangement you've made than if and them, the kind of arrangement I might make myself. The kind of arrangement Monica might have made. Yep, you know it. Now on your promise then. Korean and his gang can access to my data tab, save for those that listen to the Crew Bazaar itself. Not such a type as this, mind you. No, of course not. Did you ever look at those people at the sales tap? Indeed they did, honored Effendim. Indeed they did, and it was most fortunate that you discovered it. It seems that it was a group that wished to destabilize the group to create a vacuum that could fill with their political ambitions. But you took care of it, right? Yes, they were a reason. Yay! Trace signal to its source. The issue had been resolved. Thank you for the help. The Crew Bazaar owes you. You know it does. Alright. Anything new going on here? Ooh. Unarmed plus 1 willpower. Gotta go with you. Can I? Okay, it requires intelligence 4. Not sure what that's all about, but oh, very high intelligence. Oh crap! Maybe talking to this guy will get me some. MSO calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. Is that calls over your shoulder? His eyes glued to the computer display. Frau Mueller should be on their way, but before you go out to the meeting site, I have news. Glanced off. His words trail off. Upon seeing the expression in your face, Ams's voice becomes grim. It can wait. Tell me what happened. Some trouble on the U-Bahn. Somebody set up an ambush. Truth be told, I've been expecting that something like that might happen. I'm just glad that you made it out alive. Me too! Why don't we drop this? Yes, I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into the computer and goes to work. A few minutes later, he lets out a grunt and dismay. Well, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately that's all I'll ever be able to pull off this thing. And all that anyone, truth be told. Must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software the instant when I gained access it bricked itself. And so disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the ground and clatters to a rest on the metal floor. But what did you manage to pull off it? A comm file. The audio is here, but it looks like we've only got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have. He opens the file, and a nightmarishly familiar face appears on screen. Bachmeyer. The voice bleats out from Amsel's speakers, filling the room. Audrin here. What's your status? Bachmeyer's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted her on the U-Bahn just like you said, probably on her way to a job. As per your instructions, we're going to have to take her out on the way back. She'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured and low on ammo too, but only time will tell. Good. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Kosman is rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it. Quick. Send me a comm when the job is done. Audrin out. The image of the computer screen dies. Amsel turns to face you. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. I suspect that Greenwinter's predictions are coming true. I believe Firewing is behind this. Under Amsel's patient exterior, you can feel the worry that's eating him. Be on your guard, you and the rest of your team. You made it through the attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least we have a name to a face, Audrin. That's not what we all have. As I was saying, when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence. Coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I'd dig into Audrin's skin grafts. Well, I did, and the search has finally borne fruit. One of my contacts outside Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's still a boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls up a file on the computer. A medical chart opens up on the screen. Turns out our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed at a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once. What do they say? Well, they're rather late on identifying information. Our friend's name is listed as Max Musterman, the local equivalent of John Doe, but they do cover his injuries in great detail. Audrin's injuries were extensive, but had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis. Then he had sustained a 3rd-degree burns over 60% of his body. That had to hurt. Ugh. Most damningly of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point, but we know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened after that remains a mystery. He pauses for a moment, studying your reaction. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I'm willing to hear everything that comes to mind. Well, he might have spent time in the SOX. Radiation poisoning didn't happen on his own. Agreed. 5,000 millisieverts is a lot of exposure. Short of basking in the glow of an unshielded reactor, I don't know how one would have absorbed that much ionizing radiation without spending time in the SOX. Alright, so Audrin, heavily radiated, most likely spent time in the SOX. What else does this tell you? Those burns sound like dragon fire, but if the Firewing burned Audrin, why would be working for her now? I don't think Audrin is working for the Firewing. I believe that he is serving her. On Greenwinter's second DVD, he mentions that there were a cult within the SOX that worships the Firewing, the disciples of clean, cleansing fire. I believe that Audrin belongs to this cult. Nothing more dangerous than a zealot. My thoughts exactly. A hireling could sometimes be bribed or reasoned with. A pawn could be liberated, but if Firewing's soldiers look upon her as goddess figure, nothing short of killing her will deter them, and even that might not stop them. It's possible that Audrin is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of what the other information that we've uncovered. Any other reflection about you? Hospital could ID Audrin. Either somebody is covering his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Audrin were a denizen of the SOX, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. It's a worrying theory at any rate. So to sum up, Audrin was probably spent time in the SOX. It's probably that he even lived there as a member of the Fire Swings Dragon cult. And he's after you. Pauses for a moment before continuing. In my mind, all this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. Agreed. Good, and that's the more reason to gather Alice's fee as quickly as possible. You know it is, buddy. The buzzing sound from Paul's wrist lifts the edge of it, and luck would have it, Frau Mueller has arrived. Best of luck meeting her. Remember, this is an urgent. We need that money. I'm on it. I'm on it. Just gonna post all this pay data I got for sale and some other things and da 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 da. Shadowlands BBS. Post pay data for sale. Claim. Alright. Really attention-grabbing headline, right? That's how local news has been spinning. The truth is, Schoolhouse was abandoned years ago and being used as a humanities recruitment and the training complex. Tolstoy. You kidding me? A friend of mine was going there after class and he said it was just a community center. Alex Tusk. I know none of you are fans of Humanus, but that entire chapter house got wiped clean. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw Humanus for exploiting them, but they don't deserve death, Jast. Good riddance to those streets are a little safer now that they're all buried, Maelstrom. Went Troy on the Humanus board and that place was totally wiped out. Volker Stahl was in charge of that chapter house. Good riddance to that piece, Drek, Ruby. Should not believe everything you read on the Matrix. My sources tell me that he has already moved on to a safe house. It seems like whenever things get rough for Humanus, he always comes through without a scratch, Tolstoy. She finished up drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is Humanus did not want to pay for services rendered and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. Blue breed. Bead. Why am I having trouble saying that? So the muscle decided to take the whole place down without would get the Newen back. Well, that's one way to make a living, I guess. Wraith Lake, 44. Even if your friend did get screwed out of a bit of Newen, I don't think Humanus would even be worth the bullets, especially that many. Jest. Save the F-State! The time rise up against the corporations is now. Fight for free Berlin, New Revolutionary Alpha. You just fall out of the time warp. The war's over and we won. Wraith Lake 44. Hard to imagine Berlin any freer. Maybe you just need to switch to decaf. Jest. As long as any corporation is active anywhere in the F-State, we are all at risk. We must act. Corps are good for business and keeping their little corners. Why do you think we would help you? Wraith Lake 44. How naive to think that they will stay there forever. Do you see that they are taking the freedom as well as we all hold so dear? Plans are being made to cross the F-State. With the shadow community on our side, we shall prevail. New Revolutionary Alpha. The F-State has its own way of dealing with those who step out of line. Take your politics somewhere else. Around here, we got bills to pay. Tolstoy. Right on SK. Scheisse. What a thrill. Had to do a simple data steal at SNK branch office turned into an OK Corral shootout. Never seen first response team arrive that fast in my life. I had a Decker off-site running damage control, managed to distract the second team to a different building while we jacked the car if the first team came in. Lessons learned. Simple when it comes to SK means something else. Maelstrom. You stole the corpse data. You stole the corpse response vehicle. Did they have a tracker? Don't they have a tracker on those things? Tolstoy. Of course they do. Dumped it off on the side of the road with a prime grenade in the back seat just to be safe. Maelstrom. Nice one. Wraith Lake 44. Bragging about nearly failed to run on SNK. It's worth them paying a Decker to backtrace your Shadowland account. Ruby. Any idea what valuable data they were hiding in the branch office? Tolstoy. No idea. Money was too good to take any chance with it, so I safely delivered it and then the transfer cleared. Maelstrom. All right. Pay data posted. Messages. Guardian salvage DVD. Screen flickers to life. Elite's face appears from the shifting background and ambient noises. It's clear that the message was recorded on a portable device. Oi, Kassir, just wanted to let you know that I've met with limited success in working at the second DVDs. It's a thorny problem, but at least I'm making some headway. Behind the table beside your DVD player, you should find another recovered disc. I was able to salvage all of the files on it. Wasn't able to salvage all the files on it, but I think that you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue to work on the other DVDs to tell you the truth. I wouldn't hold out too much hope, though. They're all badly damaged and suffering from disc rot besides. It'll be tough. I'll be in touch. Best to you and your team. Message ends in the phase. You find yourself back in the inbox. Still alive. Jana. Best I should thank you. You got me out of that horrible job alive. I don't think I could have made it on my own. What happened to that run took everything else away from me, but at least I'm still breathing. Was that the dwarf lady with the taser gun? That was amazing. I hope so. The lodge turned me into a killer. Sierra, the gnaws at me guts every minute of every day, and I still can't sleep at night. Innocent people, normal people died because of what I did. And you know why they made me do it? Because they could. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't bother you. You're a Shadowrunner after all. You kill people all the time. Just another day at the office, huh? Well, I'm not like you. I can't just kill people on the job and forget about it in the next day. That's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. I don't know how to live like this, but it's still better than not living at all. That's what I keep telling myself. And so I figured that I might as well tell you too. Silk. Hi, it's from the hotel. I hope it's okay I'm writing you. Samuel gave me your email address. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for everything that you did for me, including kicking my cram habit was the hardest. Kicking my cram habit was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I don't think I would have tried if you hadn't talked me into it. So I brought my newfound sobriety and decided to sign on as a volunteer at the charity. Who knows? Maybe giving back to the community will help turn things around in my life. Well, it's always good to have, you know. Anyway, thank you again. I owe you one. So, yeah, well, you know. Do what I can. Oh. Excellent job. You credit to your profession, and I would not hesitate. You get you feel transfer your account. Yay, Fuchs. Payment from client. Crew salary 4,000. Ammunition and supply cost 1,000. I back for house funds 7,500. Pyramid to my account 2,500. Samuel Reckenbauer. Here's your payment as promised. Reckenbauer. A moment later, a second message pops into your inbox. Your payment details. Client, a lot of money. Looks for crew, ammo supply. Greetings, here I am. So I trust that this naturally have the pleasure of speaking. Here we call me Herr Schmidt. I think I read this one. Okay, yeah, it's active. Alright. Alright. I might as well go around the horn and talk to everybody, see what we can get. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to everybody in case that job, talking to that lady, gets things started and I gotta do stuff. Good to see you. You too, Glory. How are things with you? You know what? I'm happy. Actually, for the first time in a long time, I have you to thank for that. Ready to tell me about the chrome you're sporting? Be patient. The explanation for that is coming. I'm not sure you're going to like it, though. You need time, and I gave you that. Are you ready to talk about Stellar yet? Yeah. Gloria looks troubled more than you've seen her before. Whatever memory she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not gonna lie, haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. Look, I'm gonna tell you something about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what you're coming up next. I've accepted that, and if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. She looks you in the eye, her expression grips. So tell me, are you sure you want to keep pushing forward at this? This is important to you, Glory. After everything we've been through, I think we both know that. Whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks. Thanks for being a friend. No problem, Glory. You're awesome. You keep us alive, and you claw everybody's face off. And I like that. So when we left off last time, I moved from the streets of Tübingen to a warm, inviting confines of Fürsteller. Marta and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. We should probably take a moment to talk more about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seems old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang out with the kids or something like a peer level. But best guess, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. But He was handsome and well built, with a neatly trimmed beard and a thick brown hair. And there was something else about him, something uncanny. Harold had this charisma, this raw magnetic attraction that was just made people latch on to him. Could have been a social adept. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words and a pat on the shoulder, and Harold would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Marta and much as I thought she loved me, we forgot about one another when Harold was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him and be part of the inner circle. Soon enough, we were. For a girl of 17, it was a terribly exciting Harold, and these rules of living that would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the University of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between the earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Frühsteller would be the first focal point of the new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us that we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. Ooh, I don't like that word, fatherland. For those in his inner sanctum, Harold would share even more. He had a power that likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fists or my own. Childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said that it came from the horned god and an ancient deity that he venerated. Ooh, the adversary? He knew that about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. Her, the horned goddess, followers have a poor reputation, especially amongst women. Any bad reputation they might have gained is well deserved, but there was more than that, as you see, Laura sighs. Hang with me. Rough waters ahead. So I became Howard's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy, and Nietzschean ethics. Above all, he taught me to connect with the horned god, and through it I learned the power and arrogance, and it was all downhill from there. For the next few years, I lived in Frühsteller as Howard's enforcer and right-hand girl. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine, but that was a distinction that I shared with all of the girls in the commune, including my beloved Marta. I mean, it was a cult. It's kind of what cults are there for. Kate learned that she'd been his long before she met me, but by that point I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living as Howard's creatures through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Other fun facts about those years. I learned cruelty. I had power now, and the new idol encouraged me to use it. Harold did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and it was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I came to learn that Harold's horned god was not the Eikenfürst. I don't know what that is. Worshipped by throwback cults across Germany, it was certainly a god with horns, but it came with an altogether different tradition. Care to hazard a guess? The devil? In the mathematically active community, we refer to it as the adversary, but yeah, same being more or less. Knew it! Adversary. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that's right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrower and I committed more atrocities than I could count. At this point, I was onto all of his tricks. I knew that Frühsteller was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew these kids would seem resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques would wound up fertilizing the ground. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit. And I knew that through it all, Harrower and the adversary were laughing because I was laughing right there beside him. I didn't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Cruiserites might have helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I educated the church, equated the church with evil. So the opposite of that, I figured it had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. Bit of mixed up logic, but I get what you're saying. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad. Serving it made me bad. End of story. I mean, I disagree. I think it was your fault. Harrow is the one who deserves the blame. Yep. And what if he indoctrinates? And what if he was indoctrinated into the service of the adversary when he was my age? Would he not be able to fault anymore either? That's a good point. No, Harrow certainly deserves some of the blame for that. I became maybe even most of it. Blame for what I became. Maybe even most of it, but personal responsibility has to come into the equation somewhere. I made my own choices, and they were horrible ones. I've accepted that. You should too. Glory pauses for a moment to collect herself. She looks haggard, and her pale cheeks flushed with red. She swallowed hard and then presses forward. Anyway, one day Harrow invited me into a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years that I was at first, the commune had easily doubled in size. I was thriving all thanks to my efforts of Marta and girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to the neighborhood cities to lure in street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were so easy indoctrinated and because nothing makes the adversary happier than corrupting the innocent. As we drove out picking up the new recruits, I was already planning ahead. It was foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of a group of cruiserites getting emulated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me to no end. So, when the Harrow was stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert autonomy, and he knew that I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' house sometimes around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I'd long since learned to listen to his voice, and it was always a reward with extra power when I did his bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opens, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up in the astral planes all around me. It told me to channel them into the doorway and into my father, so I did. But of course the person who opened the door wasn't my father, it was my mother. As I watched her flesh blackened and melt, as I heard her scream, I broke into hysterics. I heard the adversary laugh. At that moment I realized that it was laughing at me. Sorry to hear that. Thanks. We're almost at the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. But it was like a lever had been pulled. All at once, the bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant of the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. I was a ridiculous little fool who'd really only tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realizing all of this was one thing. Actually fixing it was something entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing I had to do. So I bit my lip and did the best to ignore the happy babble of the new recruits on the trip back to the Fursteller, and managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe and I stole all the commune's resources and ran. I don't know when Harrow realized what I'd done or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was fairly simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers. The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that's tied to your own soul? Oh God! The haunted look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street doc I could find, pointed at all the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that they had on display and told them to put them in me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that it was asking for an old and inefficient better suited to be installed in a museum than in a body. He told me that I'd be shredding my essence and that once it was gone, I would never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Gloria looks up at you, her eyes sunken and hollow, and the aura of the loss about her is palpable. She looked like a woman who had been through hell. That's all for now. You've heard this tale, and you know why I am the way I am. You know the things I've done and how much I have to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. There. You trust me, Eager? Yeah, I do. You've earned that much. I've been always here with your decisions, but you've proven to be your competence. It's only fair for me to acknowledge that. But tell me what happened to your team. This again? Why do you even care? Because it's pretty clear that if you had your way, you'd still be with them, and a good leader places a priority of knowing her team. Alright, I'll tell you. I suppose you deserve to know. What happened was Hoffman. He was a rookie, the kind of big money corporate exec. He looked good on paper, and he made it through KSK training, and so he was technically qualified to join the team. But he was way too green to fit in with ours. Still, he wanted to be a hero, and his family had enough clout to get him assignment of his choosing. I don't know how many strings Hoffman's daddy had to pull to get him assigned to our team, but he pulled them. Hoffman became our 9th squad mate, despite Metzger's objections. Anyway, flash forward a few weeks, we're closing in on one of the Russian mob's major trafficking operations. They'd been using a series of warehouses 50 miles from the border and the staging area for their convoys. Women and girls from Eastern Europe were being housed there. When the convoys came, they'd be crammed into the cargo containers and hauled across the border into Germany. Go into any brothel along the border and you'll have a look around. Chances are you'll find at least a few girls who spent some time in those warehouses. Slovakians, Hungarians, Poles, you name it. The mob had been smuggling them over for decades. But we were in the position to derail their operations, and we weren't going to let our new additions slow us down. We hit them by surprise. We hit them hard. Fisher and Brown managed to take down the Banshee they had patrolling the site. Wolf had reconnaissance drones overhead providing battle attack feeds to the rest of us, and we picked off their gunmen one by one. They had numbers on us, but they didn't know where to hit us. We had eyes in the sky, we had cover and the concealment. Every time they thought they had a fix on us, we'd shift positions and hit them again. They might as well have been fighting ghosts. Then Hoffman broke cover and gave away our position. After that, all hell broke loose. Wolf went down first, a sound that will haunt me for the rest of my days. An explosion, a choked scream, and then his long, drawn-out, gurgling sound. When he died, his drones went down with him, and there were too many hostiles to track without them. I'll spare you the gory details. Suffice to say that my team was wiped out. Eager's face clouds again. You can see the tears beginning to well up in her eyes. I watched Metzer die. With visible effort, she clamps down on her emotions and calms herself. When she speaks again, her voice is flat. I took 3 rounds myself, not to drag myself back across the Oder-Nessy line into Germany. Had to drag myself across the line. I almost died. So that's my story. My KSK career died, and the rest of my team, our mission was illegal after all, off the books. There's no going back for me, so I wound up here. She looks in the eyes, her tone is impassive. Did that tell you everything you wanted to know, fearless leader? Are you satisfied? Yes. Thank you, Eager. So tell me, what's your takeaway from my tale of woe? I figured that you'd have one. When Monica died, you blamed me because I was the new to the team. But I'm not Hoffman, Eager. Yeah, I know that. And you're right. To a point, I might have judged you too harshly because of Hoffman. But everything else that I said was justified. Giving you command of this team was a hasty decision made for the wrong reasons. Stand by the assessment. But between then and now, I've been watching you like a hawk, and you've grown. You weren't the right choice leader before, I still believe that, but you are now. Thanks, Eager. Good talk. Until next time. Well, that's always good to know. Hey again, boss. You need something? Let's think about what you said earlier. You said your idol was going to make you pick a fight that you couldn't win. Shrugs. It's bound to happen eventually, probably sooner than later. There's something that you can do to stop that from happening? Well, I suppose I could refuse, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea, especially not now. Remember, boss, the Dragon Slayer is where my magic comes from. If I turn away from him, you'd better believe that he'll turn away from me. Besides which, I don't even know if I can refuse him anymore. He's been with me so long that I don't know where he stops and I begin. He grins at you. Don't worry about me, boss. I've known this was coming for an entire life. And when it happened, I'll go down in the blaze of glory, the likes of which you can't even imagine. That's a promise. What if you were to pick a fight with a different kind of dragon? Say maybe a gang or a corporation? That's an interesting idea. If we're big enough and heinous enough, I might be satisfied. I never tried to bargain with or negotiate with the Dragon Slayer before. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know how you take it either. The Dragon Slayer doesn't like to be questioned, and his temper is even shorter than mine. I'll tell you what, boss, I'll think about it. I don't really believe that you're commit suicide. Of course not. The Dragon Slayer doesn't want me to die. He does want me to kill dragons. And it's supposed to be safe or easy. It isn't my idol's fault that I'm getting too old to keep up with his wishes. You get that, Alexander? Nothing new, boss. He's just, it's going to take time. The religion called the Lodge. The Lodge. He reads it. Boss, do you mean the Black Lodge? I don't know, maybe. Lodge was all I heard. I guess. Describe them to you, and you can tell me if they say fits. Shadowy, powerful, secretive as hell, deep pockets and penchant for hiding the truth. They conduct all of their business through dupes and go-betweens. Sound about right? That's in a nutshell, yeah. Well, if it's them, whoever you're talking about, I ain't saying it is, and I advise you stay away from them. Stay far away from them. And whenever you do, don't take their money. If you do, they'll own you. Dietrich, I got something to tell you. If you're about to say what I think you're going to say, don't. I don't want to know. Well, then tell me what you've heard about this Black Lodge, then I need to know. Stories that the Black Lodge is the mother of all conspiracies. Supposedly, they've been around for hundreds of years, and they've been practicing magic since well before the Awakening. Impossible, I know, but I believe it. You ever heard of the Masons, the Knights Templar, the Bavarian Illuminati? They were all puppets of the Black Lodge. None of them knew who they were working for, but the Lodge was there to pull the strings. They always been, and they always still are to this day. That's the story. Give me a lot to think about. Just let me know. Practicing magic since before the Awakening? That's ridiculous. I don't know what world you live in, boss, but in my world, ridiculous things happen every day. That is actually a fair point, and I don't know why I said that. Anyway, that's the story. Believe it or not, your choice. You already know what to think. Thanks, Dietrich. All right. Alright, third DVD. I can go talk to what's-his-face, and then finally go talk to that lady. And hopefully that'll be the 2 more experience I need so I can equip my new god-freaking lightning bolt. Anyway. Screen goes blank for a moment. Then the face of Green Winters blinks onto the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 2042.85. I was thinking about Adrian today. Not as he was when he disappeared, not as a fabled Dragon Slayer, or big-time CEO of Dihil Defense. I was thinking about when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was. Of course, he's 15 years older than me. In a way, he was more like a partner than a brother. So I was thinking about this time when we were on a holiday. Our parents took us into the island of Pol to enjoy the beach. Must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. I'd bet his last family vacation with it. It'd be his last family. It'd be his last vacation with us. A year later, he'd begin his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. On this trip, he was my brother. When I fell out of this little paddled boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who drove in to rescue me. Saved my life that day, Adrian. I love you forever for that. I will find you. I know that much. Display goes blank for a moment, then the face Green Winters on the screen. The timestamp of the video reads 2049.606. Found an old news article that mentions Adrian from back in 2036. It's printed on a financial magazine called Das Finanzenwesen, one of those cheap print-based magazines that they're produced from Retro Crowd. There aren't any clues in here, but there's good to see someone acknowledge its existence. He clicks off a screen button and the image of Winters disappears and is replaced by a digital scan of a magazine page. SK stock suffers in post buyout brain drain. November 12th, 2039. The aftermatch of Dragon Lawforce hostile takeover of Sauder Group Schlegenschlacht. That was a mouthful. Continuing brain drain of high-level executives is causing ongoing worry amongst company shareholders. The company stocks took a major hit when Lawford deposited former CEO Wilhelm Gaff Boynitz last August. Deposed. Not deposited. You deposit him. Deposit him in his fucking mouth and fucking hate him. Goddamn dragon. That's what they do. 3 months later, long-held power positions within SKI Empire continues to employ as the dragon consolidates its power base. Most recent casualties of Lawford's takeover include Alexander Kobayashi, former COO of Sata Munitions, Matt Hauser-Donner, former treasurer of Ruhr Datafax, and Werner Harding, former CEO of Dial Defense. Harding stepped into the role to replace Dr. Adrian Vauclair, who disappeared under mysterious circumstances 2 years ago. Winter's face winks back on the screen. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian a mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother. The footnote. I mean, sometimes these things just happen. Well, the check doesn't load, it clearly corrupted. The screen fills with meaningless text through text. More meaningless text. Dr. Vauclair, 2034-910. It was my sad duty to inform you that by unanimous vote of Ostenfastenstrasse, Mr. CEO of Dial Defense will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. Your continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated for any longer. Supervisor Board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during your pursuit of the dragon Ring must have been enormous. But your continuing obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon, I might add, has proven a negative influence on this company and unjustified drain on the company resource. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavors. We've prepared a generous severance package to assist you in this time of transition. If there is anything that you might do to help you, please do not hesitate to ask. Werner Harding. Well. Which makes sense. You know, spending company resources looking at a dead dragon, and you know, who better than a dragon to know, you know, if a dragon's dead or not. But I digest. One look at Blizz's face is enough to tell you that something is gnawing at him. He stands aside of the tail, playing with a coffee and a spoon. Instead of his table, playing with a coffee spoon. Oi, what you need? What's going on, Blizz? Well, Chief, I have to admit it, there might be a little bit of trouble here. Go on. Some awkward pause, then Blitz plows on ahead. Well, remember the creditors I told you about? The ones who loaned me a lot of money? Yes. Well, as it turns out, some of them are a little less forgiving than I thought they were. Talking. One in particular seems to have taken things kind of personally. How personally are we talking here? I got a package in the mail. I had somebody's thumbs in it. Thumbs? Yeah, thumbs. They came in a cigar box packed in salt. No idea who they belong to. I'm pretty sure they meant to convey some sort of message. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Don't want to lose my thumbs, Chief. I like my thumbs. I think I need them to play this. I think I need to pay this guy back. Luckily, I've got a plan. I know how to get myself out of hot water with meat grinder. I've got it all specced out. Let me guess. Straight. You took a loan from somebody named Meat Grinder. Hey, Chief, come on. I feel bad enough for this already. There's no need to rub it in. Anyway, like I was saying, I can make it all right again, but I need you to help you to do it. Go on. There's a group in Dragonkype. They call themselves the Landenberg Ring. They're a financial crime organization, and there's a lot of bad blood between them and Meat Grinder's operations. Anyway, back when I was running with Schwartz Hernsey, laid out a groundwork for a hit on Landenberg Ring. I was never able to make it good on it, though. For some reason, none of the other gangers either volunteered to help, ever wanted to help. With your help, I can steal enough money back from them to cover my debt and get myself back into Meat Grinder's good graces in the process. So what do you think? A quick run, just you and me with me in the Matrix, and use my woman on the ground, bit them, settle my debt, laugh about it, and our way back home. Sound like a plan? Alright. But in the future you need to be more upfront about stuff like this. No problem, Chief. Not all problems. No problem at all. You count on me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some last minute stuff to take care of before we start it. Oh, thanks. No sweat. No sweat. Oh, Not such... Oh, no, not as such, Chief. Won't be physically going to Dragonfall. I've seen enough of that place for a lifetime. We're jacking in from a terminal that I set up here in the crew bazaar. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I guess I'll send you a comm when I get there. Sounds good. Thanks again. So I gotta go there, and you stay here. Alright. Anything from you? Get that drone fixed? I do. Just finished before you arrived. That's a complication, though. What is it? Drone's got a custom AOS stack on it. Someone wrote code that sits on the boot loader and confines the drone to only some commands from a specific user. The thing works like a computer virus, so there's no way I can rip out unless I got another brain from this model of drone. Before you ask, yes, I looked into the problem. It's a stolen corp drone, a discontinued model of a stolen corp drone. No parts for this thing that make it around here, so unless I know someone locked this thing up so tightly, you're not going to get some more use out of it than a doorstep. What else from the owner? Thanks. So you press your way forward through the cozy smoke-filled confines of Café Cévez. You catch a sight of Frau Müller. She appears as Ansel described, an impressive-looking woman of Ausländer descent with coffee-colored skin and a dark, wavy hair. Everything about her screams corporate executive, from her expensive-looking suit to her tastefully understated makeup. She's obviously nervous, but she's hiding it well. She locks eyes with you and hesitates only slightly before speaking. There, I presume. Herr Amsel told me I could meet you here. I was in line. Said you had a job for me. She holds herself for a moment. Yes, I do. In truth, I'm in desperate need of your help. Tell me what you need, Frau Müller. As assumed name, obviously, but I've been told that this is how you people do business. She straightens in her seat and tries to smile. It hangs on her for a second, then fades away. She sighs. From my accent, you've no doubt inferred that I'm an Ausländer. Further, you've may guessed who I work for. You tell me, not in the business of guessing. As Technology, the only Ausländer-based corporation operating in Germany. Been with the company for over a decade. A decade, huh? But you've probably seen some things like some, human sacrifices, blood magic. Sorry. Allegedly. Over the course of my employment, I've worked for a great many projects, from innocuous to obscene. My hands are touched at all. Never once did I question my wisdom of research. Never once did I consider blowing the whistle on my employees. Kept my nose down, worked hard, and excelled at the tasks set before me. They must love you there. Nor with any other employee, but my commitment to and work ethic were recognized, and I ascended the corporation ladder very quickly, which brings me to where I am today. Last month I transferred from my home in Denodeckland. They told me that there is an employee of my caliber we needed in Berlin, and that I would be working with a project with wide-reaching applications. The only detail I was given was the name of the project, Bloodline. Does not sound good. She looks you in the eye for a moment. For the first time, you can see the cracks in her composure. She's doing a good job of hiding it, but deep down, this woman is terrified. It's many terrible things in my life. And blah, 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 blood magic is commonplace. Called it! Take a moment to imagine what that means. In the underground markets, people are bought and sold as chattel. Street children are rounded up and bled like lambs. I witnessed all these things by the age of 12. She takes a deep breath and then lets out slowly. Seeing such things, it changes you, makes you numb, but what I found arrived here was worse. This project, it horrifies me, and it must be stopped. Tell me everything you know about Bloodline. The less you know, the better, for both of us. You'll just have to trust me on that, okay? You'll need to know that it is evil, and that it is not worth the word I used lately. What time about Bloodline is, how do you expect me to stop it? Simple. She leans in and looks at you. I want you to bring the building down. The computers, the research data, the mages and scientists that are all working to bring about this abomination. I want them all burned to ash and burned to rubble. No compromises, no exceptions. I mean, I feel like you could probably arrange that if you just kind of send a couple of messages to some, S&K representative, get it up the line, tell Herr Brackhouse about it, Sure, you've answered your many questions. I'm not in the habit of dealing with Shadowrunners. In truth, I spent the majority of my career living in fear of you people, but I do know that you're the only ones who can get this done. So tell me, is there anything you need to know, you hear from me, or are you ready to make a decision? How do you expect me to level a building? You don't need to. All you need is a competent decker. The facility is powered by a number of on-site generators. There are safeguards in place to prevent them from overloading. In the event of a power spike, the system is designed to shut itself down, but I know how you can disable those safeguards. Once the generators begin to overload, you'll have a limited time to reach safe distance. The explosion will be quite catastrophic. Right? Paul Amsel is my representative in these matters. Why couldn't you tell us all to him? I have to meet you in person. I had to look in your eyes and see the woman behind the name. Now that I know that I have done so, I'm sure you are the one that I need. Naturally, I will send any further information to job to Herr Amsel, provided, of course, that you accept. What about innocent people in the building? None of us are innocent. But if you need to salve your conscience, rest assured that at the hour of your approach, the only personnel authorized at the site will be security and senior members of the research team. And I assure you, neither are innocent in this matter. If the Bloodline project reaches completion, nobody will be safe ever again. It sounds like hyperbole. I know, but it isn't. The Bloodline project will lead to countless deaths. I'm certain enough that this is to hire you, despite the fact that doing so will probably cost me my own life. What can you tell me about building security? It's expected to be tight. In addition to their standard security team, As Technology has taken out a Knight-errant high threat response team contract to protect the building. Corporate doesn't seem to mind contracting to a competitor for emergency response services. This should give you some indication of the uniqueness of this project. At any rate, I believe that I've come up with a solution to Knight-errant problem. I'll discuss the matter with Herr Amsel if you decide to take the job. It's not compensation. 36,000 Yuan. As I told your Herr Amsel, that's what I've allocated for this job. That's fair. It's better than fair. I've done my homework. See, I've reached a decision. I'll take the job. In that case, it's a deal. I can't tell how relieved I am. Thank you for helping me, and this brings the nightmare to an end. I'll iron out the remaining details with your Herr Amsel. You want to talk it over with you, and he'll want to talk this over with you, I'm sure. You're a good woman. You're saving more lives than you knew. I'm hoping I get XP for that. We do his quest next, so I can get my XP and get my lightning bolt. Welcome back. How did things go with Frau Mueller? I accepted the job. Any ideas on how to tackle this? Yes, Frau Mueller provided with a detailed information on the facility. I vetted the information and it seems to hold up. Based on this intel, I formulated what I believe will be an effective strategy to bring down the building. According to Mueller's intel, the facility is extraordinarily well guarded. Whatever this Bloodline project is, the Azis have spared no expense to defend it. So it is patrolled by As Technology internal security personnel. On their own, they would pose a challenge, but I don't doubt that you could have brute force your way through them. Fortunately, they will not be on their own, as Technology has purchased one of the Knight-errant's more expensive security contracts in an additional line of defense. I fought Knight-errant before. They don't scare me. Never been up against the high threat response teams, but be thankful for that. Didn't I get one in that one mission with the Lodge? Whatever. Pulled some strings at an old contact of mine, and he's provided me with an address of a small software development, OTK International. We read the firmware updates on Knight-errant's comm systems, and their defenses should be considerably weaker than As Technologies. The contractor has informed me that OTK stores are off-site and a hard copy of every firmware updates it develops the data for security purposes. Yeah. I suggest that you hit the office of OTK International and reduce their computers to slag. In the interim, I have their hard copy of their next update replaced with a compromised version. When OTK's next update goes live, our compromised version will be pushed out to Knight-errant. When you hit As Technology facility, they'll be able to track Knight-errant via their comlinks. This should make the run much more manageable. You finish this pocket. he fishes in his pocket for something. A moment later, he produces a small corporate ID with your face on it. This will get you through the front door of the office. Part of that contains OTK International. My contact will only be able to provide me with one card, so you'll need to let the rest of your team in through the side door. Alright, sounds like a plan. Very good. OTK offices aren't far from here. You should take the U-Bahn there when you're ready. There when you're ready. Yeah! Back on there, stick it. See that guy got a new dock where I got after my last one, got using that last mission. Hey buddy, sorry about you. Could use some help over here. You want to make a little extra scratch? Shouldn't take a long. What's the problem? Me and a buddy Victor got called in from next keys over. Something wrong with the sewers around here. The local plumbers and mechanics are all useless. Vic and I talked to him, tried to get him to give us the maintenance schedule for your sewer pumps. They just scratched their heads at us and said that the machinery down there just took care of itself. The best guess is that your pumps have shutdowns happens from time to time and proper maintenance. When pumps shut down, the waste started piling up, and that's causing some pretty major overflow problems downstream. What do you want me to do about it? Well, Victor went down in the sewers while I was getting stuff out of the truck. When he came back, well, I was about to climb down there, but he heard some awful screams. They went on and on and on, and then they just stopped. I froze up and nearly shit myself, to be honest. I don't know what to do, but I can't go down there, not after that. The problem is it's probably something basic, a clog that needs to be cleaned or something like that. Restarting the pump should take care of it. But no goddamn way I'm going down there. If you'll do the job for me, I'll give you the new and we were paid for it. I don't need it. You can have it all. I live without the money, but someone's got to fix those pumps before I can leave. Fine, I'll do it. You're a lifesaver, chummer. If you find Victor, well, if he's still alive down there, tell him I'm sorry. All right. Go down to the sewers, have some fun. Assemble the team and head in. Didn't get my new dock with him, huh? Too late now. Ghostly labyrinth of tunnels and dead-end passageways make up the network of sewers beneath the crew bazaar. You climb down the ladder into the shallow underworld and reel at the wave of foul smells that washes over your clogging your sinuses and saturating your clothing. As your eyes adjust to the light, you find yourself standing at the edge of the narrow channel of a murky gray-green water. The rush of churning water echoes down the tunnel. You catch a flush motion in your peripheral vision, something man-sized moving fast, flitting across the far end of the tunnel. You strain your eyes to see it, but to no avail. The thing, whatever it is gone. Done. 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 Red human bones have been picked clean. Ooh, that's not good. Corpse mangled beyond recognition. Corpse has been eviscerated, his limbs have been torn clean off, and ribcage is oddly deformed. The tattered shreds of blue maintenance uniform hang loosely from its chest. Search the body. You find a well-worn manual entitled Rotbergag Ostrgag 2042. Book filled with depictions of turbine pump, cross-sections, tools, and descriptions of maintenance procedures. A few of the pages have been bookmarked with colorful bits of paper. Look at the yellow bookmark. The page in this is dominated by a detailed illustration of a turbine cross-section. Scrawled in the margin is number 822869. Green bookmark. So the note that's written in the memory of this page, but you didn't recognize it. The only word it's written out is computer, written several times. All right. Access the pump status. Pump 1 is stopped. Analyst turbine water flow failed. The south turbine has been deactivated. Steady water has been stopped. Pump test running passed. Pump is operational but not receiving water flow from the turbine. This is pump operations. Error. Pump operations have been rerouted to the facility's central computer system. Away. This is pump status. Pump 2 has stopped. Analysis south turbine water flow failed. South turbine has been deactivated. Steady water has been flow stopped. Pump test running failed. The pump has been clogged. Clog cannot be resolved until water flow has been restored to the pump is shut down completely and then restarted. Operations. Operations have failed. Been rerouted to the blah 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 blah. Okay. I figured that was the case, but oh god, there we go. Feral ghouls. A very bad idea doing this, but oh crap. Yeah! Start pump 1. South turbine water flows failed. South turbine has been deactivated. Steady water pump. Up to fast. Blah 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 blah. Restart pump 2. All detected water flow insufficient construction. Please make sure turbines. Okay. Something I gotta do. Activate the turbine. Right, more rules. I swore I equipped my new power bolt. Yes, I didn't. Oh, come on. She's bypassing me, just going right. Just bypassing him, you're going right for me, aren't they? Well, I've been saying since day one. Always geek the mage. That was incredibly annoying. Up here, just to make sure I'm not supposed to be doing up here. No, okay. Restart pump 1. Pump 2. Function section of clearing obstruction done. Pump restart has completed. Success for any diagnostic success. Pump 2 operation within normal parameters. Alrighty then. Shambling mound of ragged flesh stumbles towards you with a look of desperation in its eyes. Please, don't shoot. The ghoul's breath reeks out of rotting meat. We're not like the others. Relax, I'm not gonna hurt you. Thank you, stranger. Considering my condition, I had all but given up hope. Who are you? Speak for the Krubazar's ghoul population. The Krieger strain may have ravaged my body, but I have retained my mind. I feebly paws at the gray, pustulant flesh that hangs from its bones. Krieger strain? No, it's a bitch from HPV. The virus that has infected us, that has twisted us into this. Yeah, it's a terrible virus. We are not monsters, ma'am. We are people with an illness. Incurable for now, yet some of us cling to hope. You may think of us as lepers if you wish. Keep talking. We lived down here under the Krubazar for years. For all that time, this place provided refuge from the world above. We traded our labor for sustenance, both for ourselves and for our feral brothers, and we survived. But now our food supply has been interrupted, and the feral ones have gone mad with hunger. There's a danger to everybody, even us. You worked for food? Who was feeding you? The doctor, a topsider from your Krubazar. He kept us fed. The contract guaranteed it. Under the terms of our deal, we maintained the pumps that keep the Krubazar's sewage flowing. In return, the doctor gave us medical waste to eat. With proper rationing, we found that we could get by on what he gave us. The Decker monitored both sides to ensure that our mutual cooperation, but with her death, the doctor has reneged on the deal. Without the food guaranteed by the contract, the feral ones have gone mad, and in their madness, they have made it too dangerous for us to maintain the pumps. Is the Decker named Monica by any chance? It nods. Yes, that was her name. Doctor, you mean Dr. Ezekiel? Yes, he kept our community alive, he helped us thrive. But now the Decker is gone, he demanded payment for our feedings. We have no money, but he does not care. He tells us that we must find someday he'd let us starve. You were the reason why the sewers took care of themselves. Yes. In truth, we would still work on the pumps even without the doctor's payments. We love our occupation. It helps us feel human. But the changes wrought by the Krieger strain require us to eat human flesh. If we do not, we'll wither and die. Without regular feedings, we will not have choice but to hunt for our food. I think that I have a solution to your problem. Yes, please, do whatever you can. The situation is desperate. We're going to have a little talk with Dr. Ezekiel. Perhaps you can convince the doctor. We cannot. You have a common link provided us by the ticker. It is a direct link to Ezekiel's office. If you want, you call, he will answer. You have the common link, receive the custom job, cobbled together from a jumble of high-end parts. It reminds you of your mission computer or Monica's handiwork. A series of staccato clicks and the connections made. Dr. Ezekiel's voice pours into the ear. You think it's a blend of irritation and insolence. If you call me to beg again, you might as well hang up now. I've been bled by you people for too long now. There are plenty of chop shops and organ leggers out there who will pay good money for. You're not talking with a ghoul, Doc, and I don't beg. You see her? He tries to hide his surprise in his voice. He doesn't do a very good job. Wait, what are you doing on the line, my friend? I'm just very interested in conversation with your long-term customers. I don't know what those things have told you, but they're not my customers. They never paid me a thing for my services, and they're keeping the Krubazar sewers running, Doc. It's a little bit... I don't know why it's my responsibility to pay them for. You signed a contract, I expect you to honor it. Doctor, please, you know as well as I do what needs to happen here. What I know is I'm not doing this for free anymore, period. Contracts don't last forever, and you'll forgive me for saying this here, but I can't see a good reason to continue honoring this one. The clinic is a business, not a charity. I'm not giving you the new friends any more biomaterial unless they pay me for it. You don't have any money, you know that, but maybe there's something else you want. Well, like a barter system? I don't think so. I can't imagine that a bunch of sewer-dwelling monsters would much valuable to trade. People, Doctor, not monsters. They've already been working for their meals. Maybe you could come up with other things for them to do. It's an intriguing suggestion. I might be able to work with that. I'll tell you what. You tell their leader I'll continue defeating them. In return, they'll keep the sewers maintained. They will, like these two, and will agree to do an odd job for me on the call. Just so we're on the same page, what kind of odd jobs are we talking about? Whether that pack of bloodthirsty ghouls might be good at. Use your imagination. Deal. I'll give him the message. Very good, and tell him that I think I'll look forward to working with him. You're back. But when Ezekiel has offered to resume your feedings, but on 2 conditions. Yes, please tell me those conditions. 1, he wants you to continue maintaining the sewers, and he wants you to do jobs for him. C, tell him what sort of jobs has he in mind. He wasn't specific, but I think that he was thinking about jobs of the bloody kind. A downward cast looks across the fool's face and looks away. Hi, I'm not surprised. He sees us as monsters, and he intends to force us into acting like monsters. His own pack of mindless creatures to command. We will be forced to discard that which is most precious to us, and act like we would already think you are. This is a price for survival for us. This is the deal that you've broken. Sorry, if it's any consolation, it wasn't my idea. This is what Ezekiel was willing to agree to. Well, suppose that I must thank you. Please leave us. Please do not come back. Now I just feel bad. Welcome relief after the time. The sewers, a cool breeze drifts across the street, carrying with the smells of food being prepared. Blah, 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 blah. Since the sewers, however, still lingers on your nose, a bad olfactory aftertaste. At least the pumps are working again. The sewage overflowing in the streets would certainly smell far worse. Yay! I'm a smart now. Drek, finally, I was worried you would come back here. Just tell me what happened down there. It's taken care of. You can leave after you give me the money. Victor. Friend's not coming. I'm sorry. Christ, poor Vic. I don't know how I'm going to tell his folks. What close-knit family they were. I found this on him. Maybe you could give it to them. Hey, thanks. They'll appreciate it. Here's the money I promised you. Awesome. Probably say something if I could have just paid the guy. Dark things lie ahead of you. Sir, you'll wade through a sea of corpses before the night is through with something at your back. I cannot see it. I cannot look any longer. I'm sorry. I probably the explanation that you came true. How did you do that? You were confused. I didn't do anything. I merely reflected what I saw. She blinks, then looks away. What I shared with you, it was an observation, nothing more. That's all I needed. Thanks. Okay, so you... You... Chris Warren said 1 earlier when I was... You know that's not important. Flamethrower, monobolt. Fireball. Yeah, okay. I don't know what's going on then. Alright, you, because you're always good. Fireball. Lightning. Heal. Gonna sneeze. And I'm back. Could get stunned, but I don't really want stun or distraction. I don't care about that. Could get monoball. You know what? After I get some new medical stuff, I'll see what I can get from him. Yeah. Welcome back. What can I do for you, my friend? I need medical supplies. Alright. Should be good there. You know what? I'll save my money. The off chance there's some better spells that show up later down the line. Don't think they're going to, but yeah, what can you do? Just in case, what's we got going on here? I have karma, eh? Save you and get 9 willpower. Yeah, let's go clear up Blitz's dead. Feeling strong, feeling powerful. Drogenkype, it's high up on anyone's, it'd be high up on anyone's list of places to avoid, but that's where you're headed. As you're going there alone, this time, the last time you saw Blitz, he was carting his portable terminal over to Cafe Zevez, presumably so he could do his decking thing in the most comfortable environment possible. Like everything else related to Drogenkype, the U-Bahn train that services is in poor repair. The car you're riding in stinks like a chemical toilet on a hot day. After on the floor near the doorway, you catch a sight of a trampled lump of tattered fur. The longer you stare at it, the more convinced you become that you're looking at the remains of a long-dead squirrel. The train rumbles to a stop and the door slides open in time to get this over with. That's spot for it. Why the hell not? Nope. Stepping out of the U-Bahn tunnel, you once again find yourself in the squalid alley of the Dragonfall. This place is like a pile of waste, human and otherwise. Littered the streets, the gutted husks of commercial buildings stand hollow and empty all around you. Government crackles to life, and you can hear the sounds of Cafe Svez, merriment, laughter, and the click of silverware on china. Blitz's voice cuts in a second later. Hey Chief, ready to do this thing? Yeah, I got a question for you. Yeah? You're the sipping sound of presumably Blitz taking a sip of some steaming hot soy cathode steam. You can see out here as on your breath, considering the frigid night air. Condensing in the frigid night air. What's up? I've been talking to come into this back alley hellhole. Well, you recognize that the fact that I needed your help, and then you volunteered because you're a good leader. Yeah, we'll go with that. Damn right. Remember that. Yeah, Chief, I will. You better! A plain-looking man in a fancy suit taps away at his PDA. He's an older guy, probably in his late 50s, and the filth-strewn streets of Dragonfall stands out like a sore thumb. On the top of your approach, he stops when he's looking and shifts his gaze to you. You see it, right? I might be. Who's asking? My name's Hassenkamp. I'm Mr. Grinder's accountant. Mr. Grinder sent me to ensure that the money transfers goes according to plan. When you're into the building, I'm going with you. How did Meat Grinder know that I would be here? Your pal Blitz. He sent Mr. Grinder a message with a complete breakdown of your plan about an hour ago. Blitz? Of course, life. Well, of course I did, Chief. How could I be sure that this would get me off the hook if I didn't ask? So to find out, you let a homicidal loan shark know exactly where you were and where to find me. That's not exactly how I put it, but yeah, I guess. In my own self-defense, I didn't expect him to send his accountant to shadow you, though. That's a new one on me. I hate to interrupt, but if you two are finished, I'd like to get this show on the road. I want to get back home before my grandkids go to bed. Couldn't agree more. It's your turn, boys. Get the door open and we can get inside. You got it, Chief. Head inside. This won't take 5 seconds. Kind of wanted to ask him about the grandchildren, but all right. Are they on these things, or are they just like off? Let's be off. QBIC program stands vastly waiting to challenge all comers. The unknown plays represent security code string. See here, override security access root command, tap door. Access granted. That's what I thought. Piece of watcher I see turns flashingly angrily. Rapid fire sequence of light pulses. Out a warning, keep away. Check my credentials with your friends back there. Go on, I can wait. Secondary security verification approved. Super user status verified. How may I help you today? Step aside, pal. I'm in a rush. Proceed and have a pleasant day. Don't mind if I do. Well, auto turrets out here. Not liking those. And that should do it. You're good to head inside. The main server should be just ahead. Shocking display of competence from the red-haired disaster. So Mr. Grinder calls you, pal, by the way. He's a good rep. He's got a rep around these parts. For some strange reason, all his friends keep dying. Listen to this asshole, Chief. He shouldn't even be here. I don't know. Kind of growing on me. Hate to burst your bubble, but I'm not overly enthusiastic about either of you. So let's just get this over with, alright? Fine by with me. Anything else we need to know, Blitz? Yeah. Hit the first firewall. I need you to get in there and install the bypass for me. And we'll go find the terminal. drawers. Top drawer of this desk packed full of slender plastic rods, cred sticks, hundreds of them. Grab a handful of cred sticks. Your hands in the drawer, a loose cred stick, you fish out fistful. The plastic is slick and pleasant to the touch. You just draw your hand on the desk, Hansen Camp chuckles. They're all blank. You don't think that the Landenberg ring would even leave them in an unlocked drawer if they didn't have money on them. You're probably right. Doesn't hurt to check. Try to transfer between one of your cred sticks from the desk and the one in the pocket. Sure enough, the stick in the desk is blank, so the next one, next and the next. Told you so. If we keep moving, or do you want to test every stick in that drawer? Well, it couldn't. That was a rhetorical question, genius. Come on, let's keep moving. Another messy desk. Check this out. Not sure what you're on the same page, so we should probably just hash this out now and save ourselves some time. You're here to fetch the money and your friend owes Mr. Grinder. That means we aren't here to ransack desks, steal office supplies, so what you're doing right now could accurately be described as a waste of time. So it's going to take long, don't worry. Not worried, I'm irritated, but fine, whatever you think of fast, okay? Continue searching. Moving through an old desk, you find an old-fashioned binder stuffed with cheap paper. Leafing through the pages, you discover what appears to be a business plan. Apparently, the Landenberg ring is in process of opening a string of payday loan centers across Dragonfall. Hey, Hassenkamp, what does Grinder think about this? Isn't money lending his racket? Yeah, these Landenberg pricks have been a tick on his ass for years now, sucking away the revenue that should be lining his pockets. Bad business all around. Thankfully, we're going to recover at least a little of what the cash tonight. And speaking of which, almost done. Plots. I have a real and pressing concern about this silent partner that you're brought on for the loan center scheme. We do not need him. I keep saying, but nobody listens. Call me. Any idea who this Plots guy is Hassenkamp? Miserable son of a bitch. I had a share of an office with this man for... Never mind. You don't need to know. The plot thinnens. Trash. Calm down, this is all part of the job. That was more than you think. The longer we argue about this, the longer it's going to take. Alright, fine. Do your thing, but make it quick. Comes here the former old bank statements. Apparently somebody in the Landenberg ring has been using backs of statements as scratch paper. The third handful of trash you liberate from the bin contains a note that catches your eye. Hey, where did you score the stuff, man? The juice that you were passing around, that stuff was unreal. I'm serious, man, they haven't been high since grad school. When you got your hands on, you there's more. Maybe this Hassenkamp. See, apparently a man named A scored some juice. What really stuff was unreal. What do you think of making it? A couple of things. One, the Landenberg ring has some real fuck-ups on its payroll, and two, you're wasting time. Of the two, I'm more upset about the second, because it involves you keeping me here at a cesspool longer. Does this answer your question? Yeah, it does. Use the comm panel. Press the button again. Press the button again and hold it while it screeches a loud, frightening animal that dies out. Moments later, a stronger voice wastes the speaker. Who the hell are you and why are you doing a goddamn door buzz? The voice is shrill and tumultuous. Who wants to know? Who? John Bergclaff, that's who. I am the one who keeps these services protected, and I can't do it if you keep interrupting me. Tell me what you are and answer the chop shop. Stay quiet. As I must have imagined it. Gotta laugh. Stims, John, you're making the ball go squirrely again. To the key code. Terminal has been left on the screen. It is active. It logged in on the name Albert Trips. Keyboard input has been locked out and password screen entry box hanging in the screen. Enter a password. Thought that was the one I needed. All right. From the rest orders amidst the chaos, the rest of the building, papers and clips and stacked nearly off the island. So even an old-fashioned coffee mug filled with the random assortment of graphite pencils and ink pens. So this is actually organized. Must belong to somebody in management. That's exactly. Time's wasting. Let's keep moving. Something important on here. Let's have a quick look. This next paper. If you discovered a complication of financial reports, each report details the fiscal health of the small corporation. Taken as a whole, they paint a picture of a small business across the whole of Germany. Each corp in the pile seems to have an interesting innovation project underway. Fortunately, all are also in dire financial straits, and at least half of them are teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Despite the corporation's impending insolvency, the file suggests buying heavily into all of them. Apparently, the Landenberg ring sources have led them to believe that all these corporations are on the verge of being acquired by a single megacorp. The file doesn't say which one. Check the drawers, man. Check the drawers. Alright, nothing I can do about it. She made some nice binder clips in there, and you pay for you to play with, or a stapler remover you to steal. Let's go. Password. Let's try it again. Calm down, it's me, Albert. I have a cold, open the door. You know what? You're not supposed to be here, not after what happened last time. You've already gotten our one and only warning, remember? Yeah, sure, but I also know that I've got a bottle of the good stuff in my bag. Good stuff, you mean like the juice? Well, okay, maybe just a sip or two. Door locked with solid funk. Be a mage. There's an awful lot of cables back here. The interface of this console has been locked. Peering around behind the terminal, you find an absolute rat's nest of tangled cables running between it and the servers. Go on, Chief, it's not complicated. They're running a hardware firewall. You'll have to find it installed on the main matrix line, just before it reaches the first server. Kid stuff, really. For Christ's sake, quit peering and walk her through it. Hate to say it, but he's right. If you want to get around that firewall, we're going to have to give me instructions. Alright, I'll take you through the steps. First, find the main matrix line. It'll be a heavy-duty optics cable that's wired through the wall from the outside. Got it. Now, find the first box that the cable connects to. It'll have the 3 cables plugged into it. 1 power, 1 and 2 optical. Connect the ends of the bypass to the 2 optical cables. Alright, it's done. What's next? Nothing. I'm in. That wasn't so hard, was it? We're in the vault, Blizz. Blitz. Activated a bit. Time to go find the socket it plugs into. Chief found something I might want to look at. What is it? Looks like a sort of persona non grata. List of the Landenberg ring. Everyone here is listed as shoot on sight. A lot of names here, a lot of personal information too. Known associates, credit history, Alpix, that kind of thing. What's so interesting about? Well, there are 3 names on here listed I recognize. One of them is mine, naturally. The Landenbergs and the Schwartzherts never get along anything. Another is Hassenkamp's. Not surprised. Messengers love my head on a plate. Chief, the other one is yours. They've got a whole dossier on you. No idea why they got it from or why, but they have it. I've never even heard of these bastards before tonight, so how the hell do they know about me? No idea. Looks like a new file. Just uploaded about 20 minutes ago. Hang on a second. The attachment is, I'll send it to you. Puts his voice falls. 6 minutes later, a brief message appears with 3 new PDA. Plots. Here's the intel on those unwanted guests that I warned you about. They're coming tonight. Take appropriate precautions. Plots. I've run into a name before a couple of times since he arrived. Any ideas, Hassenkamp? Jürgen Plotz. He's the leader of the Landenberg Ring. I had to share office with that miserable son of a bitch for 5 years before we went our separate ways. He's the greediest, most narcissistic piece of work that's ever met, and I work for a loan shark. Imagine not a huge fan of you either. No, he's not. Anyway, in the end, he doesn't matter. Mr. Grinder will get paid, and Mr. Plotz is going to write that check. Well then, that was very late. You mean to delete the files, Chief? Yep. Done and done. No need to worry about that anymore. It's very reassuring. Thanks, Blez. Chief, check out the security door somewhere. Check it might be worth checking out. Please tell him to concentrate on the job. We're here to settle his debt, not hunt for souvenirs. Alright, Blez, we'll look into it. Hey, Blez, thanks for doing that. No problem, Chief. Thanks, we appreciate it. Yeah, Blez, we all feel that way sometime. Right, you're in the clear to security area. Keep your eyes open, Chief. There's a tiny chance that there might be a bump into some physical security from there on. Other than the crazy guy in the server room, you mean? Yeah, other than him. There wouldn't be any security in this building. Easy in, easy out, no security. That's what you said and told Mr. Grinder. Those were your exact words. Yeah, well, the situation has changed a bit. Look, I'm not saying that you will hit security. I'm just saying that you might. So just keep an eyes open and lower the next firewall, okay? Yeah. On the sheaf of banking information, the data on the paperwork that points to the meat grinder contains a lot of his listed financial transactions and known associates. The whole thing is enclosed in a manila folder labeled plots. For once, Hasselkamp doesn't complain about the detour. He sees information in front of you and stops dead in his tracks. Well, the plots have meat grinder's financial records. To steal from him, most likely, but these records, they don't make any sense. Can you explain with the rest of us? The accountant frowns and the paper prioritises the program. I know Mr. Grinder's books. I tend them for him, and I'm telling you, what I've seen here doesn't add up. In what way? I've seen projections for future profits in here that run way outside the scope of what our organization brings in annually. I don't know how Plot's got his hands on this information, but it couldn't be any more wrong. But there's something going on that you don't know about. Could Grinder be working a deal under your nose, something that he wants to keep insulated from you, maybe? No, no way. That would be financial suicide. Mr. Grinder is good at intimidating people and breaking kneecaps. When it comes to keeping the business running, I'm the man that turns it over to. It's been this way have been for a dozen years. You should ask Mr. Grinder about it when we're done with the run. Yeah, maybe I should. Look sharp. Security doesn't look like they see us. Engage the secondary firewall. Done. Chief, the final firewall just went down, so I should be clear to access the security node now. Done and done. Easy pie. Can't wait to see you. It's fine and all good, but quick about it. There were some guards in the other room, and I don't want to be here if they decide to come exploring. Yeah, I'm on it. You two cool your jets. I'll let you know as soon as the vault door is open. Guessing this is door control north, but I'm gonna check anyway. Yep. Are those two doors I saw, so. Unlock the vault door. No chance to crack on the stack from comic. Blitz's voice fills your ears. The tone is impossibly smart. Alright, Chief, that should do it. Vault's open and I'm suppressing the alarm. Easy pie, just like I said. It's just we're all very impressed. Now let's get this show on the road, shall we? Terminal, hands keeps us short. I'll handle the transfer from here. Thank you. Be my guest. As the triggers dance over the terminal's keypads and progress towards the wings bar as the climbs towards 100%. Very good. Well, one more thing that needs doing, and then we can get out of here. Alright, so we can go about it. Wait here for a minute. I'll be right back. Other guy walks over to a nearby safe and taps the code in the keypad. The door swings open, reaches inside, pulls out a small plastic box, and taps the activator on his comlink. Yes, Mr. Grinder, the package is secure. That's right, I'm holding onto it right now. I'll have it to your hands within the next 15 minutes. The comlink crackles and blitz whispers in your ears. This is bullshit, Chief. By all rights, that box should be ours. This was our run. You know what the box says, Blitz? Well, no, but I still want it. Remember, Blitz, what's the purpose of this run? Give me out of whatever, how wide with the grams. Meat Grinder wants the box, right? Yeah, but nothing. I came here to bail you out and not get you a mystery box. Alright, Chief, if that's the way you feel about it, I'll drop it. For now. Blitz falls into disgruntled silence. You can hear the soft murmur of Hasselkamp speaking into his comlink from across the room. Finally, he taps the power button and deactivates the device. Alright, the deal's done. Let's get us out of here. Upon activating the vault door, two things become immediately apparent. One, you step into the vault. And two, the door seals the lights behind you. And two, there is no obvious way to open it from this you're standing. Blitz, open the door. I mean, Chief, the vault door, idiot. There's no way to open it from the in here. You did account for that, didn't you? Oops. I think I might have missed that detail when I planned this run. Guess oops is the understatement of the century. Oops is the understatement of the century. Easy, Chief. Just cool your jets and let me get to work on this. I'll figure something out. Don't you worry. Hasselkamp rubs the temples with his free hand. The other cradles past the mouth like a piece of fine china. I knew that something like this was going to happen when Mr. Griner told me that we'd be checking up on. I just knew it. I don't make mistakes, right? What's important is how we handle them, right, Blitz? All right, Chief. And boy, am I going to handle this one. Just wait and see. Give me 2 seconds, I'll have that out of there. 1, 2. Long pause, Blitz speaks again, his voice is strained. All right, Chief, I think I can see how you get out of there. You give me the go-ahead, and I'm going to try something. But there's a catch. Of course there is. What is it? Well, right now I'm keeping you from 4 different alarms for triggering, right? No big deal. I can handle it. But I won't lie. Opening that door is going to be tough, and it's going to take concentration. I think it's going to keep all 4 alarms locked down while I don't think I can keep all 4 alarms locked down while I'm doing it. So you're telling us that in order to open the door, you're going to have to set off an alarm. Do I have that right? Well, technically, you set off the alarm when you stepped in the vault. All I'm doing is keeping the signal locked down so they can't get out. And I might be able to release the lock fast enough to catch the alarms before they sound, but I can't guarantee it. How reassuring. All right, Blitz, go ahead and do your thing. I believe in you. Well, at least it was a heavy thunk. Done and done, Chief. Nicely done, Blue. Sentence is interrupted by the shrill, wailing sounds of an alarm. Took you to leave? Sure is. Can't say I didn't warn you. You better get out of there, and the alarm is going off in both Meat Space and the Matrix. Reinforcements are on the way. You won't want to be there when they get there. Understatement. Let's get the hell out of here. Fireball! Whoa! Oh, I was seeing the one down there. That's all right. Yeah, that's it. I'm just an idiot. You hear a loud clicking sound of heavy-duty manual lock clicking shut. Light above the exit door goes from green to red. Let's detecting a pattern here. Yeah, Chief, I'm getting right to it. This is what a goddamn train wreck. There's another long pause as engine mounts, then their common crackles life again. Okay, Chief, I figured out how to get you out of there. You're gonna have to release a couple of locks. You can find these controls in the rooms in the north and south of your current location. But in order to get those locks, I'm gonna have to hold the doors open for you. Talking. Now, on my end, holding even one of those doors open is going to be a full-time job. There's no way I can hold both at once. So once I've opened the door, you'll have to run in and release the lock and then get back out again. It won't be too much until you won't be able to do what I tell you. Hold the door, run in and release the lock, and get out again. Do that twice, once for each door. That's right, once you've released both locks and you need to get out of there, quickly as possible, I'll lock the place behind you. Well, that sounds nice. Chief, better to have some company in there. Wonderful. Whoa! I don't think what I do is going to matter, because I think this fight's going to be over in 3 turns. Yep. Last save. Alright, it's back here. Alright, well. We're at time, so that's probably what we're going to have to call it for tonight. And didn't do much because a lot of just walking around talking to people, but, you know, that's kind of how this game works. But, you know, either way, they gave us so much stuff in, and until next time.